Okay, it's 10 o'clock. We'll call this meeting to order. Item number 2 is opening prayer by Reverend John Hare of Lake Kiowa Chapel, and that will be followed by our pledges led by Commissioner Snuggs. If everyone would, please rise.
Let us pray. Oh my God, we do thank you for this beautiful day and as the opportunity you give us to come together here. We thank you for all of your blessings. We thank you for the county in which we live and the communities in which we live. We thank you for all the police officers and firefighters who put themselves in harm's way on our behalf. We thank you for all the county employees who use their skills in service to others. This morning, oh God, we thank you for the County Commissioners Court, and we ask you, oh God, by your Spirit to be present here so that all that they do here this morning will reflect both your will for justice and for mercy. And we offer this prayer in the name of Christ. Amen.
Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Honor the Texas flag. I pledge allegiance to thee, Texas, one state, under God, one and indivisible.
Okay.
Good to see y'all.
Thank you.
Happy Thanksgiving.
Okay, item number 6 on our agenda is the consent agenda. The consent agenda includes non-controversial and routine items that the court may act on with one single vote. The judge or a commissioner may pull any item from the consent agenda in order that the court discuss and act upon it individually as a part of the regular agenda.
Judge, you forgot public comments.
Oh, I'm sorry, do we have public comments? I apologize.
Besides the public hearing, Mr. Hogan signed that.
Well, now, is this for the speed limits?
Besides that, he also
Okay,
signed up for some other matters.
Okay. Robert Hogan,
Yes, sir.
would you like to speak, sir?
Yes, on the speed limit thing.
Well, now, we have a public hearing on that. So,
Go ahead.
no, we should, if you don't mind, let's wait till we get to that part of the agenda. Okay, anything else?
No, not.
Okay.
I'm not quite judging how it all works here in court.
Sure,
So I
sure.
put my name with Kathy.
No,
So speaking, when it comes up and you ask for input here.
Yeah.
I want to be on that list to give input.
we'll put you on the list to speak at the public hearing.
Okay.
Perfect, thank you,
Was
sir.
there, but you said there was other items?
Yeah, there was other things on the agenda you said.
They're on the agenda.
Yeah, but they're not set for public hearing.
They're not.
Okay, is there other items on the agenda
There
you'd like to
was,
speak
but
to?
I will just do the one today
Okay.
and make it, I will learn more about it.
No, sir, we will certainly allow you to speak to something other than the speed limit if you'd like.
Okay. I would like to speak to the annex over here.
Okay, yes, sir, please do.
There's been a lot of discussion on that thing and the Crest building versus the annex. I would like to see on our side of the aisle, the exact, what y'all have planned for the annex. The blueprints, the cost analysis, parking, what's going to go on, where you expect us to park in relation to all the stuff that you want to put up there on top. Do we have that laid out already?
The parking issue, we're putting nothing up in the second story that doesn't already park here at the courthouse or at the annex area. All of that is available, and we can make it public again as far as what's moving up there, what the overall cost was. That was made public originally. It was in court, last court? Yes, approved last court, but we can make that available too.
Because I could not find any paperwork on it.
I think we can provide you all of that.
Okay.
We'll put that together for you.
All right, thank you very much.
You're more than welcome. Thank you. Okay, back to the consent agenda. Do we have anything we need to pull and discuss as a part of the regular agenda?
Let's take R off, please. R is in Ray. Anybody got anything else? I'll make a motion, we approve the rest of the consent agenda excluding R.
I have a motion to approve the consent agenda, less R, by Commissioner Clement.
I'll second that.
Have a second from Commissioner Snuggs. All in favor of approving the consent agenda, less item R, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. We'll go to item R, deliberate and consider possible approval of State of Texas federal surplus add and delete authorization representatives form.
Well, it says this is updated, but it's got John Clement still on there, Jason Brinkley still on there, Terry Gilbert still on there.
That's because of the columns.
Okay, that's all I got.
What comes in class?
Because the online form wouldn't let me check the columns, and so before we send it in, I need to,
Well, Gary's not on there and I'm not on there.
well, this is just taking off the ones that need to be deleted and adding
Okay.
on the ones that need to be
That's all
added.
it is. You're not listing everybody. That's what I wanted to know. Okay.
This is an add and delete form.
And it
We don't
doesn't-
renew our application until next year.
Okay. And it didn't come across.
Yeah, I have the same question.
Yeah.
You call Finn?
Pen is on the second page?
Yeah, Finn's on the second page.
For a second page?
Yeah,
Okay. Okay, it doesn't show us that.
well, and I didn't check those before I turned it
Okay, all right. I'm just making sure, that's all.
in. Yeah.
All right.
When I checked, on the online form, when I checked one box to delete, it filled in all the boxes. And so I took that off and meant to check those before I
Okay.
turned it in.
All right. All right, we got that under control. That's all I wanted to make sure. I'll make a motion, we approve R.
Have a motion to approve R by Commissioner Clement. Have a second from Commissioner Hollowell. All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item number 7, open public hearing. It is 10:07, open public hearing, reduction of speed limit on Precinct 2 county roads, shown on attachment. Our first speaker, Robert Hogan.
Okay, I seen this, and I live in Precinct 2. I tried to drive 35 miles an hour on Precinct Road, and couldn't do it. I don't know what, I didn't make the last hearing, so I don't know what the purpose of this is.
That's what I was going to say. I could probably speak to it before.
Okay.
Is anybody else here to speak on it?
We have 2 others.
So this has been coming about for really the whole time I've been in office. And because I get calls, if I don't get a call daily, I get a call every other day about speeding issues. And with all the extreme growth and all of my population lives down on my roads, because I don't have any of Gainesville. There's quite a bit of traffic, and part of me wanting to do the blanket speed limit, and I'm not saying I'm going to go to 35, but I put it on court to go to 35 so that I could see to get the feedback. If the road is not posted now, is it 65 or 55?
65.
It's 65 miles an hour if it's not posted. And some roads might have been posted, but the signs have been stolen or run over, and we don't know what the speed limit is. And I can't just go out and put a speed limit sign on a road without bringing it to court legally. So like if I want to put a speed limit sign on, County Road 219 that's not posted, I have to bring it to court each time because we don't have good enough records tracing back to see what, Commissioner Key might have set that road at, or Commissioner Brown might have set the road at, a long time ago. So every time I post one, I have to bring it to court. So that's why I was thinking about just doing a blanket speed to everywhere. And you're right, 35 is slow, especially on a chip seal road. It seems slow, but, if it's, my thought is if it's posted at 35, people are probably going to drive 45. Posted at 45, they're going to drive 55, and on some of these narrow roads, if people are driving that fast, some of them are just so narrow they're getting off the edge and breaking the road. So I'm welcoming feedback. I'm not just saying, hey, I want to set it to 35. I'm trying to work my.
I look at, number one, 35, the only people that drive 35 are those that are drinking. Yeah, I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, the rest of the humanity that goes over on your, especially on your chip seal roads that you got posted, they're not going to. Number one, they're not going to, unless you set a deputy out there with a radar. So we got to enforce it, and we don't even, our deputies are overworked now in the county, and they're not going to be able to do this.
100%. And what another person brought up to me was, and I was hoping he'd be here this morning, is that if it's not posted and there is an accident, there's no way to list speed as, they can list speed as a factor, but they said, somebody might come around the corner at 65 miles an hour and hit somebody else, and they weren't doing anything wrong, but they're out driving the road. So I don't know. I thought about doing it two ways. I thought about making, gravel roads one speed, and then making the chip seal roads another speed,
I just don't think, I don't, the cost to enforce it, to monitor it, and then I even talked to the highway patrol and the sheriff's department. Okay, you say it's 35. First thing they're going to do is say, well, we're not going to do it at 35. We're going to wait till you're 40, 45 before we even do it. And even if you're dragging a trailer and swerving all the road, then they might stop you regardless with what speed you're going.
Yeah.
So I think this making this on the county roads is it's going to reflect back, because they're not going to be able to enforce it. We're not, and as a citizen, we're going to go, hey, what the, no.
Yeah, and that's a feedback. I like to hear from other people too, because, I'm telling you, and I'm not exaggerating, this is hundreds and hundreds of requests. And I don't want to use the word complaints, it's concerns and requests that people are reaching out to.
Okay, I live on 678. They drive 80 miles an hour down in front of my road.
Right, and the only thing
And I know that. They do, you get a guy with a horse trailer with 7 horses, he's going to run 75 down 678.
And the speed limit sign is only going to, only people who are going to drive the speed limit are going to follow that. Everybody else can do it, but it's also a deterrent. Really is the only thing it's going to do if we can't enforce them all the time, hoping to slow people down. So,
It's not working.
yeah.
Highway patrol has their hands full. We just don't slow down.
So I just leave them all at 65?
Yes, what I would do. I wouldn't put the sign up.
Noted.
Why? I wouldn't put nothing up, because the very thing you said, you do still have rednecks out in your territory. They will take them down, or they will shoot them with a shotgun.
Which is a very common problem. And that's with stop signs, road signs, everything.
Yes.
Yeah.
I wouldn't waste the money.
Yeah. So, okay, well, and I appreciate that. I want feedback, so who else is?
Thank you, Mr.
Signed
Hogan.
up.
Appreciate it. The next speaker is Steve Key.
I'm going to be brief. I haven't spoken in front of the court in a long time, but glad to be here this morning. I want to thank Jason Snuggs for actually putting that on the agenda, because that's been a problem countywide for a long time, particularly in Precinct 2. We got a lot of roads, obviously, probably more miles of gravel roads than any other precinct, and it's going to be a while before they all get paved and all that. We all understand that, and I don't have a problem with that. I agree with the concept of setting a maximum speed limit. At the moment, that's not a problem. But as with everything else in government, one size doesn't fit all. We have some roads that are in much poorer condition than other roads, some roads that carry a lot more traffic. Our road in particular is County Road 215. It's got top of the road up around 922. There's several back-to-back line curves and stuff like that. We're driving 35 miles an hour. I mean, it's just practically impossible. But once they hit that straightaway, they accelerate rapidly to 55 and 60 miles an hour until they get right in front of my house, and there's a rise between me and Charlie in the road. And they'll have a southbound pickup truck or something come over that rise, and they swerve. They take out my mailbox. I think I've replaced my mailbox about 5 times this year so far. And it's a speed problem. It has nothing to do with them necessarily being, totally reckless or anything like that. But the people doing the speeding mostly on our road are going to a wedding venue north of my house up towards 286. So, on our particular road, it would be much better set 25 or 30 miles an hour, something just a little bit more reasonable than 35 miles an hour. I just actually
Set it lower, is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I would say lower. I think the commissioners should have some leeway, and that's probably what needs to be built into the ordinance more than a set speed limit. Is the commissioners should be able to use their judgment looking at traffic conditions, traffic counts, road condition, blind spots, and things like that, and be able to determine what they want to put on the road.
And that was one of the things when we got to our discussion part, I was going to talk to and see if our more seasoned guys might know if I can blanket them all to 35 or 40, even if I don't set them that way in the future, I can go out and post them. Does that make sense? Like today, let's say I set them where they can go down to, let's use 40, but I don't go post them. But like, if I do see the need in the future, can I go out at that point and do it? Or is it when I do finally put the sign up, I need to bring it back to court and talk about it? Does that make sense?
If you do this blanket and we sign off on it, it's an order. It's a change the order. You
Okay.
have to come back and do it.
Yeah, I don't think you can just say, I'm going to do it and then not do it.
Okay, that's what I was wondering.
Now, once we sign off,
Yeah.
it's done.
It's
And
done.
if you go sign it at anything different, and an officer cites somebody and they find out that it doesn't match the order,
Yeah.
then it's going to get kicked out.
And that would
There may
be-
be additional lawsuits if there was an accident or result
Yeah.
of, and this wasn't properly documented.
Yeah, from the perspective of a former commissioner, I want each one of the commissioners to have some ability, as for being the road commissioner for that precinct, to use judgment, and, even if it's on a road-by-road basis, make a judgment to set it.
Well,
We can do that now.
And
We do that now.
Yeah, and then at the same time, still have maybe possibly the blanket out there, as an overall safety factor for the people that live out there. Because there's a lot of roads that are different than mine, and 35, 40 miles an hour might be fine. Mine, it's not.
If you do a blanket and you don't put them up, and then there is an accident, and somebody says, well, you lowered it to 35, but there was no,
And you never posted it.
they'd sue the county.
Now, as far as signage,
And that's what I thought too,
The potential would be.
As far as signage, Jason, I'm more than willing on my road to make annual contributions to get proper signage on it and stuff like that to the county. I'm willing to sponsor a right-of-way cleanup. Some of our problems is obviously right-of-way issues where you can't see around the corner. We've got blind curves because of the overgrowth along the sides. People.
We are so far behind on cutting that.
Oh, absolutely.
I can't keep my mowers running for everybody.
No, I understand that. That's one area where neighborhood cleanups, especially once we clean the right-of-way up, and somebody comes out and helps us get the limbs out of there and everything like that.
And I didn't want to be known as the speed Nazi, but I've had so many people bring it to me. I wanted to bring it out here and get it out and talk about it.
Well, it's a good thing. It's a timely thing to do, and I know it's a controversial subject, especially if you're talking about blanket speed limits and stuff like that, but I do think that the individual commissioners need to have some say and not do a one-size-fits-all, but what makes sense on a particular road makes a lot more sense.
Right.
That's it.
Thank you,
Well, thank
Mr.
you,
Keaton.
Commissioner.
Charles Barr?
They let you two go in public together?
What's that?
They let y'all go in public together?
This is public.
So I take it y'all know each other?
Yes, we're neighbors.
Oh, okay.
And I know some of the commissioners,
Yes, sir.
so I don't know you, but I will. Now, I just came to say that I ran a little trial. I'm good at that kind of thing. 35 miles an hour is too fast, too fast. Most of the residents are driving a reasonable speed. They can stop in time. They're not in the middle of the road. Folks that come through are working people, workmen, often with trailers. And the blind corners, no matter how you run your mower, you're not going to be able to eliminate those blind corners. And when the road is newly graded, you can go about 20 miles an hour, and that's a good safe speed, most of it. When the roads have the potholes in them, which is inevitable, they appear 2 days after the rain, about 15 miles an hour is what you're going to do, unless you want to shake your car apart and not having any useful after that. So I simply would like to voice, rather than asking for a raise in the speed, I would like a little more moderation.
Okay.
I would
You're on
submit-
250 as well.
Yeah, and I don't see why, I mean, you can do a blanket for the whole county with your judgment inside that to alter it up or down. If I were in your job, I would post a sign at the entrance that says X miles per hour, radar, we mean it. And then occasionally have a radar set up. But we're waiting for a head-on out there, and it's going to be bloody when it happens. I just assume avoid that.
Yeah, your road's definitely one of the ones that I'm
Yeah.
definitely going to have to be worried
Well,
about. Do the wedding.
people come off 922, they've been going 65, 70 miles an hour, and they just don't process in their head that this is a whole different environment. It's like flying in a clear sky and then going into 0 weather. They don't realize that, and especially people who are not normally on the road. Anybody have questions for me?
Thank you, Mr. Barr, appreciate it.
Thank you, Mr. Barr. Is there anyone else, that's the last individual we have on the sign-up sheet, but is there anyone else that would like to speak to the speed limit? Yes, sir. Come up and state your name, please.
Yeah, my name is Chris Zwinggi, Z-W-I-N-G-G-I. I live at 2210 County Road 219.
The highway.
Exactly. And I agree with what's already been stated. Enforcing the speed limit is going to be next to impossible. So then you ask yourself, well, if you sign it, what's the purpose of that? Obviously, there's a lot of back channels for when there is an accident. And I was just sitting there thinking, the last 3 accidents in front of our place there, and we're right at the S curve, right? The last 3 accidents that I can recall over the last couple of years have, the last 2 have been teenagers that lived inside of Lake Kiowa. And speed, when DPS came and worked it, speed was the determining factor. I don't know if they were cited. I know it's signed at 45 on one end. I don't know about the north end, but on the south end, going northbound, it's 45. But the problem is these teenagers and many of other adults don't drive 45. Like somebody said, they drive a lot faster. If they did drive 45, I'd be happy with that. But on that road, and especially through that S curve, it's too dangerous. They drive 60, 65, 70, and it's, and the sad thing is, it's a Mercedes-Benz with someone behind the wheel that's not a teenager driving up and down that road that fast, and then you got teenagers doing the same thing.
219 is the second busiest road in the precinct.
Those of us that live on it refer to it as the cut-through road. I can sit out there, if I'm mowing or whatever I'm doing, just about every other vehicle has a Lake Kiowa sticker, headed north or south, either going to town or coming back home. I don't know what the answer is, but I do know, and one reason why I wanted to come this morning was talk about that S curve. I would like to think that we could be proactive in striping that a little bit, because at night, that's when a lot of the wrecks seem to occur. There have been some during the day, but most of them seem to be at night. Somebody misses that curve, they drive off into the pasture, and next thing you know, we have a fence down, and we don't know about it until daylight when we get up and see what's going on, unless we see the lights flashing. But if we can put some chevrons with some arrows advising people that there's a curve coming up, maybe they would slow down.
Are you at the S turn on the south side of the road, County Road 224?
No, 2112.
2112, yes, sir.
Yes,
Okay, that's.
to our north,
okay,
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have the Red Barn brick house
Okay,
there on the
okay.
corner. So I guess I was just asking if we could be proactive maybe and do a few things. Mowing is an issue as well. And a lot of us are trying to do what we can where we can, but that would help the visibility, I think.
Yeah, it's real bad there on the west side of the road.
Yeah, the west side is tough when you're coming around. You know, at night, you can see some lights coming. I don't know what the answer is. I mean, obviously, but I appreciate you bringing it up, and, you know, it's probably an issue. I was shocked to hear the speed on some of these other roads. If you drove that speed limit on some of those gravel roads, you wouldn't get to where you're going, I promise you. I don't know if across the board lowering it helps, but
Yeah, like I said, I wanted to get it on the table and talk about it. So I think 219 needs to be 35 because it's just so highly traveled. And like you said, if it's posted 35 and everybody's driving 45, it's better than posting 45 and they drive 55.
it would be a lot better, for sure. Is this a across the board,
Well,
precinct wide for you, or are you considering maybe taking like 219, for example, and lowering it back to 35 or
I
down to
put
35?
all of them on there to do a blanket just in case, and then I was gonna kind of make a decision, but after talking to people over the last 2 weeks when we went out for public thing out, and then when we talk about it here in just a minute, I don't know how to go. I figure I've got 5 main roads and I'm gonna do something about no matter what today, and then others that I've just had numerous requests on, and then, probably not do the blanket right now, and address them like, Mr. Key said, to address them one by one as they come up, which is what I've been doing now, but I thought about just jumping ahead and doing all of them at once to quit it, because it's,
Commissioner, that wasn't really my intent to say what about what, but still have the leeway to.
yeah, what they're saying is I can't do the blanket to have the leeway to go up or down because of maybe potential lawsuits, but, it's not like it's a big deal to bring them here and there when as things come up, but.
You have the leeway of addressing each one of them individually unless you do this. That's
Right.
what I think. If you do this,
Then it locks me down.
then you're tied down and
Yeah,
down
you're tied
35
down.
miles an hour. And then you got this huge expense initially to go put signage on
Yeah.
all of them. And Robbie's right on target. They're with metal now, they'll steal it, they're gonna shoot at it, they're gonna deface it, so.
And I'm gonna be honest, I had no intention of just rushing right out and putting up 300 signs. It was gonna probably take 2 years, but if I do them all right now, I guess the legal stance would be that they'd have to be posted pretty soon.
You'd have to do it pretty quick.
Yeah.
You do have the leeway to do whatever you want.
Signs now for the 65. I'm curious how that works.
It's just if a road is not posted, it's 65.
That's
It's a
state
That's just a state thing.
But you do have the leeway you're talking about, and what Steve's talking about to do, however many, 5 of them at a time, whatever you want to do, but you're going to have to post them. I understand what you're trying to do, but on the legal side, I think you'd have issues.
Because, part of the issue is not knowing what they have been posted at over the years. Just 219 as an example, if it didn't have the 45 on one end, most of the time I can't go back, I don't know what it was posted at, because it just, record keeping over the years hadn't been the best, so. I can't just go put 45 back up if I didn't know the 45 was there legally, and if somebody knew that, wanted to file a lawsuit, just, not that they would, but, they could.
Another issue we all have problems with, you talk about reflectors and signs. I have arrow signs, double arrow signs. They get stolen every day. The reflectors, they'll pull them, delineators. I call them reflectors. The official word is delineator. They'll pull them out of the ground, literally. I mean, I like to line curves with them and stuff, and within 3 or 4 or 5 months, they're gone. You won't even find them back. I don't know what people get out of that.
You mentioned striping.
Yeah, that's for that purpose, if it gets damaged or stolen or whatever, kind of hard to remove a stripe down the middle if it's reflective, something that helps visibility.
The issue you're gonna have there is most of our roads are 20 foot wide.
Yeah.
And if you stripe it legally, it's gonna take 18 inches or 2 foot of that. And then if you have a crash, somebody's left of center or right of center, our roads really aren't designed to accommodate a stripe because they're not wide enough.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking too. Because I had thought about that too. There's actually, this is getting way off in the weeds, but there was a product that I'd like to put on roads, and 219 was going to be one of them, called a chip lock, and it's a black coating to come in and lock the water back out for 5 to 7 years. Well, it's black, and Grayson County does it. You can't see the road in the dark. It makes it even worse to see, so I haven't done it for that reason. I
would hate
think you'd
to
have to
see
go out and put reflectors or stripes so people can see the road, so I haven't done that.
I'd hate to see that, especially in that curve area. Where it's
Oh, it'd
straight
be
wouldn't
so
be an
dangerous.
issue, but sure.
Just thinking outside the box, I haven't tried it, have no experience with it, but you might take the small delineators that, like TxDOT drives in the middle of the road.
Yeah, they're 4 inches or a 4
Yeah,
by
they
4
might
reflective.
actually stay and give you some reflectivity and not take up a huge space. But in all honesty, if it were in precinct 1, I'd want that on a very limited basis.
Right, yeah, just in certain problem areas.
Can you tell we at least try?
What he's talking about is definitely a bad corner.
I mean, that might be to think outside the box, that might be something viable, just rather than us all sitting up here saying, hey, this can't happen,
Yeah.
maybe we can, but, I mean,
Well, you can put the signs and everything up, you just gotta constantly be putting them back up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one thing
and I don't know
It's
about
always
those.
signs,
Well,
signs.
if we drive those through our chip seal and into an adequate base, will they stay? I don't
have to
know,
look into that.
but it's just a thought.
I appreciate you being here. I was hoping we'll have some people here. And I've had a lot of feedback from my Facebook post and the newspaper ad too.
But you said you live on the chip seal road, and you would be comfortable with it posted 45 if they would travel 45?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, and I don't disagree with his logic.
Yeah.
I mean, you can, I'm personally not an advocate of setting chip seal roads at 35 because you're setting people up for failure. They're not going to drive 35, and then there's going to be those times when the officers are available and they're out there and they're writing tickets, and all of a sudden, we're the bad guys because I personally don't drive,
Yeah. And it all.
35 on a chip seal road is where I'm headed.
And I understand that logic too, but at the same time, public safety is an issue.
I mean, where I live, it's posted 45, they run 70.
Yeah. And Robbie's right. I mean, they're gonna drive what they're gonna drive. But at the same time, I can't sit back on every single road and not do anything.
I think it does have a little bit of effect. I've done some roads, not a whole lot, but some well-traveled roads that are close to towns, and lowered them to 45. And it does tend to seem to slow them down a little bit. And then one of them will pass you going 80 when you're going 45. But the issue gets back into the steal the signs. I've had the signs stolen on one road in particular several times. When I weld the bolts so they can't take the bolts out, then they pull the whole pipe and everything out. They're enterprising people, I'm telling you.
Yeah, they are. They are.
I think it becomes a game for some folks. But that doesn't, it does help. I think it does help to put up the signs. But
I appreciate y'all giving me the opportunity to speak. Before I leave, I want to just say one thing. It's nostalgia for me to be in here because this was the tax office that my mom was in for a couple of decades. So growing up, I spent many a day in this office as a kid and sliding down that slide that used to be out there.
I know your mom.
First time I've been back in here since she retired. So
Not that many Zwiggies around. He had to be right in there.
I didn't even think about that.
anyway, I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Anyone else need to speak or like to speak? It's not on the agenda. All right, then, it is 10:34. We'll close the public hearing. Item number 9 on the agenda, deliberate and consider possible actions regarding reduction of speed limits on Precinct 2 County roads, shown on attachment. My thinking is on this, I'll go first, is that I think it needs to be a road-by-road consideration, and I do like the idea of putting up signage. It's unfortunate if the signage doesn't stay, but certainly on dangerous corners, it would certainly seem applicable to have some kind of reflective signs indicating that there is a curve. But I'm thinking that case by case, I know it's a little bit more difficult to determine those and bring each one to court for approval, but that seems like the most logical way to go.
I
Anyone
wouldn't
else?
include signage in an order because when you set us up for failure,
do what, Gary?
I said I wouldn't include signage in the order.
Oh.
I think it's very important, but you set us up for failure if there's an order out there, and we're already somewhat controlled by text dot rules and guidelines.
Yes.
But I wouldn't tie us down to signage on all of them. We try, but again, they steal them. They'll take four-wheel drives and just ride them over the post, just ride everything over. I mean, it's amazing how creative that
My
they can
people are
get.
more industrious. They want the pipe so they don't run it. They pull it out and take it with them. Tie chain on, drive off.
I think everybody here is probably making an honest effort to try to
Yes.
keep signage out there, but I would not put it in an order.
And like you said, Robbie, it's expensive. Since I've started, it's probably doubled. The pipe and the signage
Yeah, not counting the time,
and the time.
the labor, but,
And then to putting them back.
yeah.
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 Well, I mean, it's kind of where I thought it would go today after all of the feedback. I'll probably just do a case by case, but I have some problem roads that I need to take care of today.
I don't think we can because it's not on
Oh.
the agenda as a specific road.
Okay. I can't just single them out since they were all on here.
Because if there's, can we do it, Judge? If it's just
Well,
shown
well,
on the attachment, if they're shown on his attachment, can he do them?
That's a good question.
They're all on the attachment.
I understand that.
Yeah.
I'm trying to work with you here.
yeah.
So if you wanted to select some of them off the attachment, you could.
Let's look at
Yeah,
the
can't you just pick the ones you want and then
That's what I was thinking.
that'll be the attachment?
Well,
So we'll modify the attachment.
although one,
The attachment's
So-
just for the agenda. The order would actually have.
It'd be
the-
different.
the other
Okay.
road, Red Top Road has the two wedding venues on it. We have it posted at 30, so I was thinking 215 might be 30, but I'll have to do that one different because it's below 35.
So what we're saying is we'll modify the order. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to talk over you. And the order currently has all the roads listed.
And I can change that.
Yeah, I think we can do
Yeah,
that.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah, okay, I apologize.
No, I don't know that. You're
I
wrong.
think we can.
Yeah, because I definitely want to, I need to do Bryant Road, County Road, is it 285? Is that Jared's Road, Kathy?
Yes.
Okay. And then 219,
You're gonna drop 219 to 35?
that's what I think, but I don't know. That's this speed limit thing just blew me out.
Was it road 3 miles long?
Yeah, 2.75.
35 mile an hour? I would say it's slow. I'd leave it at 45, but I'll support whatever
Yeah,
you
well,
choose.
it's at 40. It's at 40. It's 45 now. If I post the other end, do you think that, and then we can kind of monitor it from there, if it helps, and I'll do some things on those corners.
You don't have it posted on both ends?
It's posted on one end.
Oh.
Probably was 45, and somebody got
Somebody
signed.
stole
Somebody got the
sign on
sign,
South
yeah.
End, yeah. Well, while I'm here, I do know that I want to make a motion to do Bryant Road and County Road 285 at 35 miles per hour. So that'd be the only two out of that list that I want to do to 35.
Okay.
And they're two little tiny short roads with curves and lots of houses.
Second.
Have a motion from Commissioner Stokes to change the speed limit on Bryant and 285 to 35. I have a second from Commissioner Hollowell. Any further discussion? Anyone? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0.
Then I'll bring 215 back when it's
219.
correct on the agenda.
Yeah, we thought that.
Yeah.
Thank you. Okay, item number 10, deliberate and consider possible approval of upgrade to SSI-net data for Sheriff's Office. I think everyone has a copy of that proposal. I thought the sheriff would be here today. I guess he got busy. He really likes what he saw. I think everyone knows that net data long-term will not be supporting the software that he currently has. From a financial standpoint, do we have money earmarked for this, Shelley?
No, but we have money in contingency.
This keeps us in a net data product.
Yes.
It does.
And he conveyed to me that he impressed by it and he liked it.
So you got a one-time cost of $162,269,
Yes, sir.
and then yearly subscription of $53,586.
That is correct.
And that's going to replace what he has now, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. When does that go? When does that go away, the old one?
Well, they're still supporting it.
They haven't said.
Yeah.
They're trying to transition out of the net data name to I3 Verticals.
To what?
I3 Verticals.
Oh, okay.
Who bought them a
Okay.
couple of years ago. And so this is a new product through I3 Verticals.
And it should accept all the archive data and transfer over into this new software package.
Yes.
Is this the one that DA is supposed to be able to get onto also to help them a lot more? Or somewhat?
They will have access.
They'll have
yes.
access to
It
it,
is-
but
It's not their preferred,
No, it's not their preferred
but
software.
this is 20% of the price of the
Right.
preferred. And for one department, that'd be a whole lot of money
Oh, yeah.
on the, as I understand it.
And we're still continuing to investigate what can be done from a
It-
programming standpoint for the DA's office, so it's,
Through net data.
yeah. Yeah. So
it also has a CAD system built into it, so I believe we would be able to stop paying for the support for the CAD system we are currently using.
Yeah.
So we'd save a little bit of money
Yeah.
there.
Well, if he's happy with it, we have to do it.
Well, we got to upgrade to give him a product that's best serves his needs, is what I understand. I don't,
Yeah,
Do you need a motion?
yes, sir.
I'll make a motion that we approve the upgrade
Have a
to
motion?
SSI/net data.
Have-
Well, the name of it is SSI through,
I'm just reading it off of here.
I know, but it's through net data, but I mean, that's
is it I3 that bought net data? Or is it
I3 Vertical, yes.
It bought net data?
Yes.
Okay. Is SSI a sub to them or part of them? It's part of the,
It's a sub of I3 Vertical.
A bought company. I have a motion to approve the SSI hardware, software, data package for the sheriff's office by Commissioner Clement.
I'll second that.
I have a second by Commissioner Arndt. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it.
I'll have to bring a budget amendment next court,
Okay.
and I believe that they're currently installing in Hockley County, so it'll be after the first of the year before it'll get installed here with the conversion, converting the data and all of that.
What are we paying in fees to them now? A year, do you think, roughly?
For I don't know that I can tell you specifically
Yeah,
the
okay.
sheriff's department. I think we're over 100,000 for all the products we have.
For all of them? They'd be part of that.
Yeah.
So we're already paying, the point is, we're already paying fees now? It's-
Yes.
This isn't something totally new?
No, we're currently paying yearly maintenance fees, and that is support and any updates and any issues, we have, so.
and probably a large portion that's already part of that maintenance for the sheriff. In other words, it probably makes up a large portion of that
I'm sure it does.
$100,000.
And like I said, they don't break it down by each product, so I can't tell you that.
Okay. Item number 11, deliberate and consider casting votes on ballot for Board of Directors of the Cooke County Tax Appraisal District. What this is, it's in your packet. We made the nominations for the 5 individuals that are shown here. Nancy Branham, Jim Collins, Nathan Dempsey, Jerry Flightman, and Joe Knight. Now, they're asking the court by statute to divide up the votes for each one of our nominees. I think historically, we have divided them equally among the 5 nominees, but I don't know if we want to continue to do that or not. That would be my recommendation.
1,259, is that correct?
You got a calculator there going?
I mean, bottom line, we want to accept the recommended candidates.
Yes.
Yes.
Those were the original nominees that we made a couple of courts ago.
1259.
And I don't remember.
There's no, what's the word? They want them all back, and then,
Yeah. And I don't remember us splitting. You have to be careful because we don't know what each other entity did, and we could mess up the,
yeah. But if you only have 5 candidates, and they're going to take 5,
yeah, I mean, it's
you
almost,
you understand what I'm saying? There was a time whenever the votes used to be split. It's been quite a while back.
is it accept by acclamation? Is that the appropriate word if we wanted to go support 5 of them, or do you think we have to sign a number to it? Just, I don't ever remember signing a number to it, Judge.
I would think it's equally.
Split them equally.
I'm not sure, to be honest with you. I wasn't here when we did this last time.
Have you talked to Doug about this lately? No?
I mean, I know what the goal is to support the recommendation, but
Right.
because we have a large number of the votes, if we go off, see, I thought we typically applied the number needed to one candidate and then gave the remainder to a second candidate.
We've done it both ways.
Because if we go off in a lot, we divide our 1259 by 5, you don't give somebody but a couple, 300 votes. And if one of the other entities didn't support that, we could inadvertently
Eliminate somebody? Yeah.
not support somebody that we really intended to.
Well, let's see if I can get a hold of Doug real quick and add him to our discussion. Hey Doug, I'd like to add you to our discussion here in court about how we go about casting votes. We're a little confused. We should have asked this earlier, I guess, is the question you're about to be asked is, do we cast all of our votes equally among the 5 candidates that were previously nominated? There is some concern that we might very well, if we did that and some other entity voted exclusively for one, that it might cause some confusion. So if you don't mind, I'm going to put you on speaker, and would you address the court on how this has gone previously? Thank you. Can you hear us, Doug? I have Doug Smithson now, the director at the Tax Appraisal District. So can you give us some insight, Doug?
Okay, typically what happens is you'll see there's 5 board members will be nominated. When it turns out there's only 5 that wasn't nominated, you can have as many nominations you want, but there's only 5,000 votes. The votes are based on the amount of levy, and it's allocated based on the percentage of your levy. So basically, you see that, I guess y'all have basically how many votes?
Yes.
You can, it's kind of like electoral votes, you can split them however you want to. A lot of times what you have, you'll have one entity that's will carry a lot more votes, and they may split theirs. I've got a spreadsheet that kind of keeps up with the tally of it. It takes a minimum of 735 votes to guarantee a seat. If it's one of those things, you have more than 5 nominations. And so, but basically, most everybody I know, what was it, Lindsay City, they only had, let's see, 30 votes. So they took and cast 6 votes for each one of them across the board. So,
Okay.
right now, how you cast your votes really doesn't make a big really.
Yeah.
Okay.
Since there's not a contest,
Yeah.
There is no minimum to meet. Okay.
There is no minimum because there's only 5 seats. In fact, our last session of legislation, I'm hoping this session, that to me, if there's only 5 nominated, then it would save a lot of time and effort for one if we didn't have to even worry about casting votes. But it's been on the books this way for years, so.
Okay. Thank you. Any other
I would
questions?
say right now, the ones that come in, I think Joe Knight probably has the least amount of votes that have come in. And usually what happens is like Civil, Dan, Munster, Lindsay, that kind of go to the west, start in the county. The eastern part of the county kind of does the eastern part, and then Gainesville City, Gainesville School District, Commonwealth, still in the middle. Those are in the middle.
Okay. Thank you for taking your time this morning to talk to us. Anybody else have any other
Does that make
questions?
sense?
It does. Yes, sir.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you, sir.
Good day. Later.
You too.
So we can just split them equally and we'll be fine,
Yeah.
unless you all want to do it different.
251 votes. And if we give them to somebody that's already elected, then I don't know how that works. Somebody
Well-
comes up short.
Well,
Well-
they don't need a specific amount of votes. They can get 0 votes and still
Yeah.
be not
Since
on the
it-
board.
yeah, if
since
they get
only
one
have
vote, they're
5.
fine.
Yeah.
The deal is that there is no minimum to meet since there's only 5 of them.
251, if you divide it by 5, so whatever,
It's
251.8.
251 divided by 5, what do you mean?
It's 251.8 if you
Our
divide.
number votes 1259.
Yeah.
Divided by 5 is 251.8.
Yeah, I got you.
I didn't figure anybody want to amputate part of it, so I just went with 251.
I see what you're doing.
Okay.
I was
I think
wondering
you can't
why,
round
I was
up.
wondering why you were hung up on it. So move,
I have a motion.
that we
to
split our votes.
give each one of the nominees 251 votes from the county by Commissioner Clement. I'll second that motion to divide them equally, 251 for each candidate. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Number 12, deliberate and consider possible actions regarding roofing materials to be used on courthouse roof. What we're discussing here, and I'm led to believe, and it's also in their information packet, that even the tar-based materials are not hazardous to humans in the form. Rick, could you address this here and correct me anytime I'm wrong, or just correct me?
Thank y'all.
Thanks. However, I wanted to give the court the option to use either adhesive, either the tar or the cold adhesive. I'm led to believe also from their information that they both are warranted the same. There would be no difference in the warranty whether we use the cold adhesive or we use the hot tar. Now, I've had some experience with this out at Saffron. The complication we're going to have with the tar is that you will smell it in the courthouse, especially in the third level. Now, how intense it will be, I don't know. Maybe you've been here before, Rick, when they did tar work on the roof.
Building wasn't occupied when they did it the first time.
Okay. I can tell you, it's annoying. It's not, no one at Saffron left the building, and we didn't have to shut it down or anything, but it was a little bit aggravating. So I wanted to give the court the opportunity to think about that before we make a commitment on which adhesive to use on the courthouse roof. Discussion?
Well,
Also, there was a cost to the cold.
yeah,
Yeah, there is how much was it? I've got it here.
10,250.
Yeah.
10,000 bucks. The smell doesn't last that long, does it? Few days, couple of days,
Yeah.
and it's gone,
Basically, by the time they get it put down,
a day or so.
when it cools off.
Yeah, you don't smell it anymore. I don't know if the smell would be that big of a deal for a day.
I'm on the first floor, so I'm probably not going to smell anything.
I don't know. Have we had someone worried about it?
No, no one's concerned about it. We just need to make sure that the courthouse is aware that there will be some odor associated with the tar.
What's it gonna last, 48 hours?
Well, it depends on how long it takes them to do the roof. Now, if they do the
Rick,
roof,
let's get up here, Rick,
yeah, Rick,
please.
if they do the roof in section like they did out of, or Saffron now, is that that section of the building is going to smell like tar, and then it's going to move to the other one. So collectively, if it takes them a week to do it, then you're going to have a week's worth of tar smell in the building.
That's correct. They're gonna, each day, they're gonna remove the amount of roofing that they can put back. And at the end of each day, the building will be waterproof. And so depending on how many days it takes them to work their way across the roof, every day you're gonna smell the smell.
One of the things we are going to do, we're going to try to coordinate with the district court and make sure that we can try to accommodate not having court during the periods that they are putting tar on the roof.
And they are planning to work weekends and holiday days that we're not here. They're planning to work those days. So
Well, that'll take care of most of that problem.
it'll be minimal, and I'm not sure how obnoxious the odor is. We just have to wait and see. A lot of that depends on the wind and everything else.
How long do they think? How many days? Week? More than a week?
A week to 10 days is what they estimated,
10 days.
pending weather, and, you know, when it's
2
raining, they
weeks.
can't do it, obviously. And
2 weeks.
2 weeks, yeah.
But it won't smell for 2 weeks.
No.
I got you. If we're gonna do it on weekends and holidays primarily, I don't know. Do y'all think it'd be that big of a deal? I say, let's go with save the $10,000 and go with the asphalt.
That's what I would do.
I don't know, do you really get as good a roof off the coals as you do off the,
I'm sorry.
I said, I wonder if the roof is as good if you use coal as it is if you use the hot asphalt.
They say both products are equally as effective. I lean toward the hot process. They heat it, mop it on, and adhere the adhesive to the deck with it.
Well, I'll take the advice of my head of maintenance person and make a motion we do the hot, if they really do it on.
What I
Like you
heard
said.
is he now has somebody to blame this
Yes.
on.
I never said that. I'm the one who made the
No,
motion.
but in fact, I agree with Commissioner Clement. You are our expert, our resident expert, and so we do lean on you for advice in these kind of areas because we don't know anything about tar. I know it's black, sticky, and smells.
Now, wait a minute. You just gave us a speech that said you did this out at Saffron.
I was in an office that stunk. Actually knowing what they were using, how much concentricity there was, and how thin they were spreading it, there's a lot of factors that play into how much odor you're going to get. So, yeah, we're gonna look at you to give us some advice here.
I personally don't think it's going to be so obnoxious that it'll be a problem.
I don't
I take it that TAC is approving to pay for it, that it's not going to cost us. Because the second page is TAC adjustment, supplemental, and TAC total loss approved. And I take it that TAC's going to pay the supplemental.
The 44.
That's the way I'm reading it.
That's the way I read it too, but I'm not an attorney either.
Which includes the $10,250 for cold adhesive in lieu of asphalt fumes. I mean, so,
I never left my office out at Weber. There was people that did complain. So I think that we certainly run a risk that there's going to be people that will complain. You know, it boils down to what do we get for our money? We can go either way. I just don't want to run the risk of using the non-smelly adhesive. and then our roof blow off in a week.
Right.
I had rather give the people on the third floor the latitude maybe to move offices down here temporarily or whatever would be accommodating. So, and we can always do that even with the hot asphalt if we decide that it is too smelly. We may be able to relocate people temporarily. I don't know. I would think we could.
I may be selective reading or misunderstanding, but this last sentence says, if the county wants to cover the additional cost for the cold adhesive.
That's what I see.
That's what I saw.
That's what I'm trying to figure out, where you're finding that they
So,
quote. That was going to be my next.
and as far as hot asphalt versus cold, I think same application on the roads. Hot's always better than cold.
That's always
There
better.
you go.
So you have a motion.
I've got a motion.
I have a motion to go with the hot asphalt by Commissioner Clement.
Second.
Have a second by Commissioner Snuggs. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it, 5-0. Item number 13, deliberate and consider possible actions regarding Main Street lot. I don't have any update on Main Street lot.
Where are we at
still-
with it?
We're waiting for bid books to come in, or quotes for bid books, not bid books themselves. We only have one quote at this point. We have two others that are working on them. They're just really busy and haven't gotten them completed yet. Not the books themselves, just a rough estimate. Let me restate that. We haven't asked for a quote, we've asked for estimates. The first estimate we got was $20,000+ to do a bid book. So until we get some other rough estimates on bid books, unless everybody, I'm not familiar with what the cost of bid books have been previously. 20,000 seems a little high, but, and what a bid book entails is simply putting together all the specifications that would be applicable for whatever construction is being done. In this case,
Seems pretty expensive.
it does to me too.
I wonder if they're using the term bid books in exchange for scope of work, because in
I don't-
15 years, I've never heard
the
it
word
called
bid book.
bid book.
So who came up with the bid
And a
book?
scope of work is, I think, is what they usually do, and but 20,000 is, to me, high regardless for that kind of a project.
Just
And maybe
flat.
I'm misterming it. Is bid book correct? What are we looking for?
You're looking for the engineering and the bid specs.
I think the engineers are the one that started coining the phrase bid
Bid
book.
book, I don't doubt it at all, Judge. I'm
So
just saying it's different.
what we're actually looking for, Shelley, is what?
The bid specs,
The bid specs, scope of work.
scope of work.
And they may still say $20,000, but that's too
And
high for
it's-
that project.
I mean, regardless of what you call it, that's their price. They know what you're asking for.
Okay. So maybe it's just a confusion of terminology.
Oh, but I bet, like Shelley says, I bet what they're calling a bid book is scope of work, and it's still the same price. I
Yeah.
think they know what you're asking for.
But I'll certainly give that clarification to the three people that are giving us a rough estimate for what it would cost to get a bid spec.
Interesting, it's not that big of a deal. It's just a half a city block covered in concrete.
Yeah.
Well, the last questions I got were, is the city going to make us replat that into one? Right now, they're two separate, and is the city going to make us replat it into one? And if there's any drainage issues, and so I said I couldn't answer those questions.
They're going to have to tell us, that's what
Yeah.
we're asking. They're going to have
That's
to tell
why
us
you
the
hire
drainage issues.
architects and engineers to tell you. Why are they asking us whether there's going to be drainage problem?
Well, because we haven't formally hired them, they can't call on our behalf.
And I did, I touched bases with the city and then gave them that input, so they have that now.
So we need to find somebody that's cheaper than $20,000.
I think we do. I think that seems to be, when you're looking at a project that's $160,000, and, just the specifications to bid it for 20, that's getting a little sporty.
That's
Well,
kind
if we
of
were doing
sporty.
construction, if we were building a building, doing construction, it's usually about 10%.
I was just going to say,
Parking lot, 20?
Yeah.
That's the reason we're waiting for the other rough estimates to come in before we even.
Somebody's wanting to buy a good Christmas present.
Yep, could be it. I think that they're looking at, COVID probably had something to do with inflating that price.
There you go.
Gotta recover.
COVID.
Got to have social distancing.
We got social distance.
We'll
parking.
take no action on item number 13, the Main Street lot. Item number 14, deliberate and consider possible actions regarding the Crest Building. We do have some information plotted from our workshops as to the first moves for the Crest Building and a tentative timeline for doing something early next. We have $500,000 earmarked. So we need to determine, I'm assuming in another workshop, exactly
Well,
when and what we want to bid out.
the Crest Building, we're talking to an architecture.
Okay.
Yeah, right after this meeting.
Right after this meeting.
To show them our little wish list so they can start giving us.
We being
do's,
Commissioner-
don'ts, and
Yep.
this initial on it.
We being Commissioner Snuggs and myself.
Okay. Any other update other than you guys are meeting with an architect after this meeting?
No.
Okay, then we'll take no action on number 14. Number 15, deliberate and consider possible actions regarding Annex. I do have, and I'm not sure it's in the packet, a request from Darrell to make some modifications.
Nothing in the packet.
Then I'll give you a handout here real quick.
Unless somebody's got something I don't know.
I have. Here we go. Take one.
And this is what?
This is the area that had been designated for the IT department on the second floor. And if you look at the second page, where it says 202 there, what Darrell is recommending is that we add this little bump, for no better technical term, to allow additional storage. He is also requesting that the door be moved from what you see in the first page, and it's designated as 201. And what he's saying, and I think that moving the door is an excellent idea, because if we move the door, that area now becomes available for storage instead of a hallway. Maybe I should have sketched that a little better.
Yeah, it's just that line slide.
Yeah.
I see it.
So that's kind of what it looks like today with the drawing we've currently approved.
So
Darrell's at-
the one on the top page
Yes.
is what's approved.
Yes,
The second page is what he's proposing.
correct. And Judge Starnes just threw out option number 3 is move the door, but don't make the bump. The concern with the bump for me is that we're moving very close to the machine room. Did you get actual, how many inches there is between the new wall that you're proposing and then the machine room?
We make sure that there's 4 feet in there.
4 foot, okay.
And what I took back
How many square feet does that value, Darrell?
it turns a fairly useless hallway into 100 square feet storage area. That's 10 by 10, that's square.
And that's still considerably less than what you would actually desire.
Yes, we also talked about giving you storage other places, and I'm gonna need about 500 square feet more storage than what you see on here. But that's not an issue at the moment.
My knee jerk is, if we're actually going to have to go somewhere and create you additional space, that's where this 100 feet ought to go, and leave that a clean wall.
Well,
Because if we, especially when you start trying to move stuff, furniture or something of that nature, if you had to go up the stairs, that 90-degree turn right there might be a pretty good little challenge. We might create a restriction there that we don't want to create.
I don't know about that. He's gonna have more than just that room just to put, it's gonna be bad enough. He's gonna have to move everything up there the way it is to work on it. It needs a little bit of room to bring several things up there to, I say several. You get 20 or 30 computers in, you don't really have a place to put them in that workroom. At least you
You're gonna
could.
work on 20 or 30 at one time?
That's probably not.
So we talked about in our workshop that we were going to use what was previously document storage areas, which are climate controlled, and that would be ideal for electronic equipment.
Yeah, this square room I'm proposing to turn into our toner storage.
Ah,
So that
okay.
when somebody calls for a toner, we don't have to order it.
So we have 100 square foot of toner?
And that's what we have right now. We have a 10 by 10 room that's half full of toner and half full of used computers that are ready to go back out. So do we have to have that room? No. If we had storage elsewhere, that would be all right.
The discussion we had at the court was using one or both of the current document storage because we collectively wanted to move document storage to a ground level, and I still think that's a good idea.
I'm very interested in that storage space.
No, if you give him that storage space, but no, he may not work on 20 computers at one time, but if he has 20 of them in there for some office, the sheriff's office, wherever, and he has to work on them, if you have them in an adjacent little storeroom, it's a lot easier than walking back and forth. That's all I'm getting
He's
at.
saying that he's going to put toner there.
Yeah, he's gonna put toner in there, I understand that too.
Like I said, I think if we got to add 100 square foot, if and when we create that additional storage space, we accommodate that 100 square foot. Of course, there's some conversation about this may be temporary anyway, if we're going to shoot him to the Crest building. And in all honesty, I hate to start off with a bunch of change orders. We've got approved drawings, approved plans. I'm sure they probably have drawn in the adequate HVAC to accommodate what you currently have. And if we go add another 100 square foot, is that going to be additional ductwork and electrical? I think, I don't know that for what it would cost us, that 100 square foot would be a good investment.
Oh, I don't know if you're gonna move him anyway then. If you're worried about good investments, let's move him to the Crest building now.
Well,
In the next few.
are you ready to move him over by yourself?
Well, I don't know. I think he'd go.
I mean, if we want to follow that,
I think he's asked us to go there several times, haven't you?
The only thing that's in my mind keeping me from moving the Crest is the elevator, but that's.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
and if he were the only one going, it might be different, but because we have several offices, and you guys are working a plan,
We're working a plan. By the time we get to the third floor, it's gonna be, or the second floor, it's gonna be quite a while. If you don't want to give him the 100 feet, don't give him the 100 feet. If you're gonna guarantee him those storage areas up there, that's fine.
I would.
Because I've been against putting him in that little cubby hole ever since we first drew a picture that we're taking somebody that we were advised after we had a study that take care of IT, and our response was to go from 1,200 feet to 600 feet. And you're having issues, okay, if you're worried about wasting money and adding another 100 feet, that's fine. If you guarantee him he gets those two storage spaces.
we're guaranteeing him he will get adequate storage
Okay.
for his, that no one ever intended for him to have equipment sitting outside in the weather or something of that
Well,
nature. There was always
When you
intent
go
to
from
have a
1,200 to 600, that's a pretty good
And I
statement. But anyway.
wouldn't, I wouldn't have any objection to moving the door, and then that area where the door is becomes some storage, about half of what he currently has, or drawn in. Y'all
Yes.
follow me?
Yes, certainly moving the door.
And then you end up with a clean wall. I just don't think that you make a zigzag out there in the middle of that open area.
You still have 4 foot left, is that what you said?
That's the open area.
4
that goes
feet?
into that
Okay,
section.
maybe like where the door goes into the courtroom?
Yep.
Is that
Or
what
what
that
will
is?
be the courtroom.
That's that triangle right there.
Oh, no. Well, over here is where you go into the other half of the building, I would guess, yeah. But Well, see, there's, no, because here's, this is a hallway here.
Okay, I see.
I don't know what that is.
I don't know what that is. That's why I was confused on that.
Yeah, but this
The
is,
door to the courtroom is gonna be like right here.
yes.
You
Yes.
still have storage?
And see,
I do know what that is.
Took it
I
on.
see it. No, I don't know what that is.
apparently it's a passageway between the break area. But in other words, he's gonna buy this much right here if we do nothing. If we take this door
And move up there.
and move it up here where he's suggesting, this is gonna become storage. So that's, if this is half of that, that's 50 square foot.
But here's the other problem. You're gonna give him the storage spaces, but when you're gonna give them to him, because we still have all the documents scattered out all over there. Now, when will we ever, what are we gonna do with that?
Well, what we talked about in our workshop was moving that over to the Crest Building.
In in the center row downstairs, right?
Yeah.
Which one? The storage?
Yes.
Because DPS is west, auditor and treasurer's east, and then the center was gonna be a storage, so we were on the ground floor.
Yeah.
And that might be something, that might be a move that could be made pretty quick because really not a daily access to that area.
We better make sure that meets fire marshal code and all that good stuff.
Yep. No, that's absolutely
I
true.
don't know how many documents you can mix, you know, mixed office setting, I don't know.
But I haven't been in government, know how it works. I wouldn't guarantee the sun's coming up tomorrow. So don't anybody paint me in a corner that I guarantee anybody anything. But yeah, I know what
I
our
have a
goals
strong
are.
suspicion it's going to, it's been for quite a while.
You think it's going to come up?
Yeah, I'm betting.
I'm cautiously
Rick,
optimistic.
will you take the action to get clarification on if we're going to be able to put document storage in the Crest Building on the first level and have dual occupancy there? Thank you, sir.
irrigation system, a sprinkler system.
Yeah. Yeah, I think that it's okay, but I don't
On
want
the
to put
ground
words
floor.
in anyone's
I don't
mouth.
It had more to do with not a weight capacity thing over there, it was just the amount of paper you had in a wooden building is what the problem.
Something to do with the density of combustible.
Materials that was gonna be in that old building is what the problem was.
I think that, and I may be wrong, but this is something we ran into out at my previous employer, is that I think we will have to have sprinkler systems in that area, and we may have to have shelving such that it is a fall-through shelving, meaning that it's racks that are steel and they're not closed out in between each level. Does that make sense?
That wasn't the problem over there, it was just how much combustible paper we had in there is what the problem was.
Well, in the space that we were trying to put it in.
That's in the space we're putting it in, that's why we need to get that checked out.
Take a look at that, that's a good idea. Thank you, Commissioner Clement. Anything else on the annex? Crest Building?
Do we want to, if we want to move that door, we probably need to bring that up in the pre-construction meeting.
Yeah.
So that, again, I see nothing there. If we move the door, I see no issue with HVAC or electrical or anything of that nature.
Okay, back to the annex. So do I have a motion to move the door and leave the wall as it is?
So moved. Did you catch me, Judge?
I'm sorry, no.
Motion. You asked, I said yes.
Okay. I have a motion to move the door but leave the wall as is by Commissioner Hollowell. And I have a second for moving the door by Commissioner Snuggs. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Ayes have it. Item 16, deliberate and consider possible action regarding county radio communication system.
I have very little to offer this morning, with the exception of we're still waiting on our interlocal from Denton. We coordinated. They have now been provided your snail mail address and email address, Judge. It should come to you.
Okay.
There was some question as to would we be required to pay for the radios for DPS? And the answer is no, we will not, as far as user fee. Anybody have any questions to prompt me as to, for anything else? Any questions?
Tires going up?
Towers going up?
Yeah. I about got them all in the shop over
Do you?
in Gallusburg.
Oh, they started wrecking them though?
No, they won't start till January.
Oh.
But no, I've got.
This January?
Yeah, really.
Just curious.
You had concern. There's any doubt, you're right. You have any reason to doubt that this is going to happen?
Well, the
No.
project was only supposed to be operational by October 1st.
I think you dreamed that nonsense.
You're having fun, aren't you, Snugs?
He's still ragging on me about a culvert, you know.
Any further discussion on radio?
Let's move right along.
All
That'd
right.
be good.
No action on item 16. Item 17, deliberate and consider possible actions regarding various grant funds. Shelley?
I have turned in 2 roads for FEMA, one for precinct 3, one for precinct 4. I have 2 more for precinct 4. It's not listed here, but you will find in your packet, y'all need to vote on 3 closeouts. Project worksheet 596, 913, and 963.
Can I interject myself? It says in here 963 is precinct 4, and that's precinct 3. It's listed wrong. I don't know about,
In my letter,
well, what the agenda item says,
well,
963.
it's not listed on the agenda, so disregard my letter.
I'm confused.
Well, it's under this, and so I don't, if you want to wait and do them next
No,
month, so they're
I'm
listed.
just,
Right, but that is, they're
that's
not,
not going to have anything?
it's just on my letter.
Okay, well, okay.
So what we need here is a motion for me to sign these off, Shelley.
Yes,
Each one of them individually, Shelley?
yes, well, he can probably do them in one motion.
I'm gonna let those guys motion. That's their business. I just
Can't we
clarification.
make that change here, because it does bug me a little bit, you're telling the world, and it'll go in a
Well,
minute.
yeah, I can change your letter,
Well, it's on the agenda, and it says precinct 4.
but it's not listed
It's
here.
not on this agenda. It's
Well-
on the agenda request.
Yeah, and then, all right.
I'll change it.
No, that's fine. In the letter in here, it says, please find attached the FEMA closeout form for PW 0911. That's 113. It also says the same thing for the 963. It has the same.
Well, I was just using the same letter, I didn't change.
Okay, fine.
Sorry.
No, I'm just making sure.
I will change it, and all I do is copy it, put it on the agenda request.
I make the motion to accept and have the judge sign them.
I have a motion from Commissioner Arn.
Second,
And a second from Commissioner Clement
as long as we clear up the precinct 3 and 4 thing. Well,
to approve the emergency management application benefits and be signed by Judge Starnes. Any further discussion? All in favor, please signify by saying aye. Aye. Opposed? Ayes have it. Anything else, Shelley, on
Nothing on the FEMA, nothing on the FEMA 2020 COVID-19, nothing on CTIP. The election grants, one has been finalized, it's the Election Cares Grant. We're sending back $890.67 out of $39,874.83. And nothing on American Rescue.
Okay, no further action on item 17. Item 18, we will take a 5-minute recess and go into executive session in compliance with the Texas Open Meetings Act.
May I say one thing about the
Yes,
sheriff's
ma'am.
software?
Yes, ma'am.
Per the quote, it says that the annual maintenance currently budgeted through net data will stay the same. So this is, we are currently paying.
That's good,
Currently paying.
good news. 12:40. And we're back in, oh, wait a minute, are you ready? Okay, it's 12:40.
Okay.
We are resuming regular session. Item number 19, deliberate and consider possible actions concerning real property. That would be no action. Anybody want to discuss or add on any future agenda items? No action. Item 21 would be adjourn.
I'll make that motion.
Second.
I have a motion from Commissioner Snug, seconded by Commissioner Arndt to adjourn. We are adjourned.